All right, if it seems dark right now, that's because it is. There is no electricity in here, and it is nighttime out here. So let me just transfer to a location where there's a little more light. I don't know what the situation is, but we're preparing for like a little rainfall down here, and a little earlier than expected, we had like a downpour, and then it ended. Um, and then just like 2 to 3 hours ago or so, I was out there. I was working on some Blender stuff, and then I shut everything down to come inside to get some dinner. And then between that time frame, that's when the downpour happened. And then when dinner was done, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna turn on my computer again and just kind of resume working on what I was doing. And nothing is on. The weird thing, though, is that if we turn on the what we call the spotlight over here, so the external lights and the main source of like industrial lighting inside of the garage, those two things do work, but the outlets, which we have the electric car plugged into, and more importantly, my computers, at least more importantly to me, um, connected to, just aren't in service right now. So I don't know. We did a whole bunch of different experiments to try to figure out like what was the cause of it and also what is the solution to that. And we didn't really um, come to any conclusions. So I'm personally chalking this up to the Tyler curse, where this is a really big and major problem, an impassable hurdle for like this window of existence. And then after everyone goes to sleep and then wakes up in the morning, miraculously for some reason, it just solves itself. Um, that's what we're hoping for anyway. Because otherwise, um, there's no logical reason to why that's happening. Because if those two lights work, then how come the rest of the lights in the garage don't work? And other such weirdnesses. Um, so yeah, January 25th. Fun. Had to just rip everything out in order for the electrician that's coming to actually be able to reach like points of problems potentially. So, for example, this guy here, that guy goes all the way down there and then ends up behind the mess. um, that was my main little terminal outlet thing. And so the TV had to go from there to down here, just so that there's more convenience there to check it out. But the weird thing, though, is that if we hit this guy, that light turns on. But that guy is plugged in up there, and the garage is plugged in up there. So the mystery as it stands is every plug anyway that's above the shoulder height, it works for some reason, but every plug below that, I don't know what happened. Maybe an animal died back there or something. um I don't get it, but I can't do work out here in that sort of condition, so the battle station had to be sort of haphazardly dismantled and then moved to a place where there is electricity. And I'm not happy about it because it's not very space accommodating. Things got to squeeze now. So we will know more tomorrow. It's actually going to kind of be like a split mission sort of thing. So one party is going to stay here, and the electrician will come, do the analysis of what's going on, and then party number 2 is going to go and do a lot of driving and then go through a procedure and then make sure that that party gets back safely via vehicle. So tomorrow is going to be chaotic, but at least after tomorrow we'll know a lot more about what's going on here and what's going on health-wise. So, oh boy. On to tomorrow. So the electrician came and went, and it turned out to be a laughably simple solution. And the electrician that we had seemingly had a superpower of finding hidden things. So over in that section, I'll just show you really quickly what that section looked like before. But the weird thing, though, is that if we hit this, is that, and coming back, so that outlet there, right, where's my finger? Right there. That was the problem, or at least not that one. That's the replacement. It was this one, because this one has a breaker built into it, and it's not that the breaker was tripped. It's just that the device itself just was old and I guess broke down or something. It failed because after taking it out of that one, plugged it into the one that I use almost every single day, and it worked for like 5 seconds or something like that, 10 seconds, and then it died. So it's just old, and we were assured that it's just not really necessary because we've got that thing right there. So if something goes wrong, then that's the one that we should really kind of be worried about, not little things like this. But it was just amazing that he was even able to find that buried back there. Is that... So yeah, now we've got just a simple outlet there, and everything should be fine. And also, I have a new outlet to mess with. So, mystery solved, problem fixed. Now, I just got to put everything back. All right, so before I move everything back where it was, I'm actually in the very unique position of kind of rearranging everything. That opportunity doesn't come around a lot because once stuff is there, it's heavy and tedious, and I don't want to move it ever again. But now that we have this newly discovered outlet, is that I'd like to make use of it, but we've got a whole bunch of gross, and I keep thinking, how am I going to rearrange that? And I keep eyeing this little corner back over here. And you know what? Screw that corner. I'm going to organize that, and then maybe that'll give me some ideas and options as to how to deal with this. So I think we're going to be delayed just another day, depending on how long this takes anyway. So, oh boy. Screw that corner. So I have either done the worst thing that I possibly could have thought of, or I just accidentally stumbled into something that, I mean, could work, but it doesn't feel right, at least as empty as it is right now. So what I have done is I have taken the workspace, and instead of orienting everything toward the door, so this is the standing desk. This is the structure desk, I guess, where everything heavy just kind of sat. And then this is the workbench that is built into the actual building where the TV stood. So The way that it's oriented now is we've got storage, the workbench that will now house the PCs instead of the TV. And then if we move circularly, we have the structure desk, which now houses the television. And then continuing to move counterclockwise, we have the standing desk. So now I've got something of like a cubicle, right? So PCs, media area, and then the workstation here. The reason why I say this is either going to be an accidental good thing or this is going to be a nightmare later is because the PCs have to go there. Whereas if we go directly opposite, this is where all the monitors are going to be. So the nightmare, the puzzle that I am now presented with is how are the cables going to go from here, snake all the way around there, and then end up here, depending on which monitor is where, I guess. The only solution that I really like about this, though, is that because the PCs are going to be there, the outlets exist behind that TV, though. They exist very close by. So the shortest cable that I have to work with is not a problem, which is the power cable. Whereas everything else is like display cable, HDMI cable, and those things are pretty long. So, but I don't have the hardware here to really sort of test out the lengths and the economy of how the wires are going to be in these places. So, but I don't think I'm going to get to that today because I still have to edit a video. I mean, I don't technically have to, but this did happen within that 10-day span. So we are on the 30th. We are at the end of the third 10-day window, and all of this occurred within that window. So this video has to appropriately go somewhere in there, even though we didn't come to the final conclusion yet. That's kind of the working theory that we're sort of driving towards as far as like the solution to this space. And so at least for this 30-day span, that's going to be what I'm going to finish off this day with, is editing the video for this thing. But I also get to experience the drawback of doing this 10-day window scenario system. Is what happens if you're in a month where you go over, you have an uneven amount of days, so you don't land on an even tens, right? I guess I could just pretend that nothing happened in those 2 days. I could just automatically move over to the next month. I don't know. The only thing that really messes with is how I title those videos, because I like to keep things kind of organized in the sense of like, this happened in January, this happened in February, this happened in April, yada, yada, yada. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to see how this feels and see if I want to change anything next month. But as far as January goes, I think that's about it. The conclusion of this will unfortunately happen tomorrow, most likely, and that's not going to be documented in the January segment of things to happen. Or will it? Maybe I'll do an extra video. Experimentation!